you love, covering all things professional wrestling. A show by members of the Busted Open Nation. Welcome to the Nation's Corner. Here are your hosts, the Nation's Corner crew.
Good evening, Nation's Corner, friends, family, and fans. John of South Jersey here. Welcome to yet another edition of the Nation's Corner. And joining me tonight is, of course, my usual cast of unusual characters, starting off to my top right. He really needs no introduction. He's already the world's greatest truck driver, spreading justice wherever he may roam. And tonight we find him in Minnesota, don't you know? Ladies and gentlemen,
That's right.
Tony Justice. What's up, brother?
How's it going, everybody? In Albert Lea, Minnesota. It's kind of chilly up here right now. Did my share of record shopping today. I went by a local joint here called Rodeo Records. I wanted to give him a shout out. If he's watching right now, what's up, Drew? Had a good time in your shop today, man. Got me some goodies. Had to scratch that itch, you know what I'm saying? So, so anyway, anytime any of y'all up here in Albert Lea, Minnesota, check out Rodeo Records. But anyway, I'm up here just having a blast, you know. So that's
very cool. And she hates when I do this, but I do it anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, she is one half of the greatest intergender tag team in all of professional wrestling. You know it as two breasts and one leg. We call it the three-piece in the side, and that side is GFY. She is the social media maven of the Nation's Corner. She is the great and powerful Debhausen.
What's up? It's Saturday. I'm gonna show off the shirt real quick. I give this place a lot of free advertising. The Bad Monkey in Ocean City, Maryland. One of my favorite restaurants in Ocean City. So if you're ever in OCMD, go to the Bad Monkey. It's a good place. You won't be disappointed.
I think they should, compensate for said advertising. We all know enhanced advertising works. So
yes,
I think that should be monetized.
That's
but
tonight, Mac. That's tonight.
Yes.
When you wake up in the morning, it'll be an hour forward.
But this kind of goes into one of our topics tonight.
Yes.
We all don't realize it, but we've all been cursed by Debhausen. We lose an hour tonight because Debhausen did not get his blimp yet. He does not have a space on the sphere. So he's making us all pay by us losing an hour's of sleep tonight.
Yeah, come on.
So
they need to make that happen.
Yes, please. I want my hour back.
So
I'm old. I need an hour back.
If he doesn't have his face on the sphere yet, then I guess what I saw today was AI. I don't know, but
it might be. It looked legit.
It looked too legit to quit, to be honest with you.
It did. But all right, we got a bunch of things to go over tonight, hopefully. We have a pay-per-view coming up at the top of the hour, or excuse me, a PLE coming up at the top of the hour.
Yeah, you don't do pay-per-views.
No.
Except for when they, try to have you pay a monthly fee for ESPN to watch one show a month.
Sucker.
You're paying a monthly fee to watch one show.
Yes.
But they don't do
uncultured swine.
But they don't do that. Yes. The unwashed, if you will.
Yes.
Those of us who are able to travel
abroad
internationally very quickly. We'll be tuning in on Netflix. The rest of you can struggle with the Peacock to watch.
Yes.
But NXT is presenting Vengeance Day coming up starting at 7 o'clock tonight, and we will get into that in a little bit. But before that, we got news. We got big news. We got breaking news. We have a new champion in WWE.
Yes, we do.
The reign of the American Nightmare has begun once again. Cody Rhodes defeats Drew McIntyre for the Undisputed Championship on SmackDown last night. And now we have, since the end, just total sidebar on this. If you have the poster made up of Randy and Cody for WrestleMania and you show it, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Did they actually show it already before the match even happened?
They had the graphic done already. Like within seconds, that graphic was up. And I guess they tried to take it down, whatever, but somebody pulled it, like said, no, we're putting it out now. I'm like,
yeah.
Really? Can we finish the 3 count yet before you do that graphic? But here we go. But going forward, Cody is champion, and we now have Cody and Randy Orton as one of the main events, probably of night 1 for WrestleMania in April.
Yeah. So, okay. So my thoughts, I just want to point out a couple comments in here. Matt says the internet was acting stupid over it. And John says, don't mind the title change. Feels like crappy story writing, though. I personally I think it's a little bit of a catch-22 because I have no problem with Cody being champion. I'm a Cody fan. Obviously, I have him on my wall. I have no problem with him being champion again. And Cody versus Randy is the match that I've been wanting to see on WrestleMania, for quite a while now. Obviously, we've seen numerous teases over the last 2 years of Cody and Randy. And so this is the match that I've wanted to see definitely for sure. And it's the match that's going to get a lot of fans interested. However, I do think that there is a little bit of there's a safeness to it. It's the safe thing to do, even though it is exactly the thing that is going to create more interest, which is what we want. It is the safe thing to do because, insert Cody in there, WrestleMania night 1 main event, I would assume. And that's going to get people interested. So it's kind of like the in case of emergency break glass, we need to do this to get people interested. And some fans don't like it and a lot of fans love it. Yeah. And it's definitely what's best for business, but yes, it is the safe choice.
And I'll get to you in a second, Tony, but yeah, along your point, Deb, we all know that Drew is basically on borrowed time, that he was going to be leaving shortly after Mania was over with because he's going to film Highlander. And who knows how long.
Oh, I forgot about that.
What his availability may be for that. So it's better to do it now than maybe to do it at Mania, per se.
Right.
Because then everybody would be expecting a rematch and that they don't have to worry about that now. Randy and Cody, you're right, is the better match. It's the sexier match. It's the more eyes on match. It's the better match overall. Drew was great and what he did, but I'm again, as you all know, I look at the what's next or what follows up. You can now have Drew versus Jacob Fatu. They could finish out that thing. And another point that I heard a couple people bring up on Busted Open, and I had, especially today, Drew McIntyre versus Nick Aldis. Think about that for a second. How cool is that? Granted, it's not main event of WrestleMania as a title holder, but that's really sounds like if they can make that happen, and it kind of seems like they have been building to some sort of confrontation between these two for quite a while now, especially around the title belt. Now, with the title belt gone, still doesn't mean that they aren't headed towards a confrontation. Now, Tony, what are your thoughts on overall?
Well, I could have sworn that when Randy won Elimination Chamber, because none of us had him on our bingo card on winning the Chamber, I don't think. I think a lot of us were thinking Cody was going to win it. And when Randy won it, I immediately was like, okay, so that's kind of funny. But they had the match set because Randy won the chamber, so they had the match set, Randy versus Drew at WrestleMania. And then we get the post show. And I could have sworn when Nick Aldis came out and made that announcement for Cody versus Randy on SmackDown, or Cody versus Drew on SmackDown, I could have sworn that he was wearing a pink robe. So it's like what happened at WrestleMania 40 when Rock versus Roman was set in stone, and then here comes Dave with the Cody Crybaby wave, and what did they do? They changed the main event from Rock and Roman to Cody and Roman.
Pivot.
And so now it's the same thing happening here. I think it's we get the match set in stone, and then here comes Nick with his pink robe. He must have stole it from the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in Albany.
Yeah.
And
I think it's booked more than Dave does.
Yeah. And so now we get Dave. Dave's happy. He's happy as a lark that his boy Cody Rhodes is the champion again. Mm-hmm. But there is I'm seeing a lot of flack on social media of people that are unhappy with Cody winning. And it kind of goes along with what I've been saying this whole time, that I feel like Cody's being force-fed. I know they need to sell tickets for Vegas because they're having problems selling tickets. I understand that we've been wanting this Cody versus Randy match for a while. I mean, we haven't seen it yet. So it has more sizzle. Mm-hmm. But I feel like this is a ploy to get more tickets sold for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I do think that. I do think like there is definitely a lot of, people that aren't interested anymore in Cody Rhodes being the main event. There's a lot of people that feel like, oh, of course it's Cody again, and I heard people even saying Super Cody. So there is definitely a lot of that out there. It's just how much of that is that vocal negative minority that's just online. Because when you watch that, like I watched it, just an hour or so ago, and the crowd in the arena popped. Now, is that a pop just because holy shit, like that was a surprise? Well, it wasn't really even a surprise though. Like it was kind of like everybody was like, if they don't do this, it's like, I don't know.
To me, it's just, IWC going to IWC. It's this, oh my God, their heads are on fire. The world's ending. Cody Rhodes is champion again. Oh, this sucks. Blah, blah. Guess what? You're still going to tune in. You're still going to watch the lead up to WrestleMania. You're still going to watch WrestleMania both nights, including night number 1 now. Your main event is Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. And then afterwards, you'll be like, oh, this was great. This match was so much better. And all this was so much better than Drew versus Randy. I'm glad they did this. So GFY, sit back and enjoy it and watch it and let it play out.
Well, and I also do think that, similarly to negativity online about AEW, I think with this, a lot of the negativity online just may be coming from people who aren't regular WWE viewers, people that don't watch the show. And, frankly, I don't watch the show regularly now. I keep up through you guys, through Busted Open, through seeing things on social media. If, I hear something that happened that I'm interested in watching, I watch the clip. Like last night, I was refreshing my Twitter feed to be able to see the clip of Debhausen because I want to watch every segment that Debhausen is on.
Yes.
But, there's going to be a lot of people who just say shit online when they're not even particularly fans of that show. So sometimes it's hard for me to even say like, oh, well, you might be upset, but you're going to watch anyway. Because that's not always the case. Like there's people like me who just, kind of tune out here and there when things aren't that interesting for them. And there's people who just say shit online.
Just to say shit online.
Absolutely. To say shit.
Now, All right, here's another question, though, because, again, based off of SmackDown last night, and both of you absolutely chime in because I have my own thoughts. Besides all the hoopla of, yeah, I know. Shout out to Neil and Mongrovian out enjoying some good old-fashioned indie wrestling tonight and seeing a lot of friends of ours and friends of the show. So I hope they all do well and have an excellent time, which I know they will. But back to my question. We had another thing with all this going on with Randy and Cody and the title, this and that. We had a very, very good promo last night about a match that, in my opinion, maybe up until last night, had a strong contender case to be the main event of night one of WrestleMania. And that is for the Women's World Championship, Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. And Rhea cut the promo of her life last night on Jade. And, man, if it wasn't for Cody and Randy happening later on in the show, or getting, or Cody and Drew later on getting to Cody winning the title, I'd have to make a really good argument that Jade and Rhea could have been main event night one of WrestleMania. And we all know how good Rhea is. But, man, she hit another gear last night in that promo. And, absolutely owned Jade Cargill, in my opinion. Tony?
You're muted.
And you're muted. And why
you'd think I'd know how to do this by now. So she put her over physically. Of course, Jade is a physical specimen, no doubt. And in turn, though, Jade put Rhea over physically too. So they were complementing each other's attributes, if you will. But in my opinion, Jade is just physical. She's not good in the ring. She's been in the PC training. She came from AEW. She was a secondary champion over there. She's a champion in WWE, and she's only defended the title once. I don't know. I feel like Jade is going to eat her sack lunch at WrestleMania and take that title from her. I don't know what the disconnect is with Jade. I don't know. They were going back and forth on social media. Of course, you don't know if they're shooting her, or they just trying to sell a match like they did with Tiffany and Charlotte last year.
We won't find out till next year when the Unreal episode comes out.
Yeah. Right. But this is just my opinion. I just think Rhea's gonna destroy Jade at WrestleMania and become your new champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. So my thoughts on it, like, yes, they had a back and forth on Twitter, and there's a lot of people that are kind of trying to, really push the idea like, oh, this has to be real. This has to be real. Like, for me, just my observation, like, Rhea wins the Elimination Chamber, which sets up that she's going to go against Jade at WrestleMania. And, like, the next day, they start trading insults on Twitter. It's kind of, to me, it's very transparent that
it's almost too formulaic.
To drum up, too formulaic, exactly. Just like to drum up interest for their match for WrestleMania. And I agree with Tony that it seems very, very similar to what happened with Tiffany and Charlotte last year, that really nobody had any interest in their match last year until they started going back and forth with each other and trading personal insults. And then Tiffy said what she said. And then, it got people at least interested in watching the match, where people were like, oh, now there's actually some stakes involved. There's something that, something that happened that I can get interested in seeing what they do. But But that match did nothing for either of them. It made Tiffany look bad. And I think it hurt Tiffy's career. I really think it did. I know she got injured, I think, but she kind of just dropped off the face of the earth after that happened. Like nobody really it didn't do anything for either of them coming out of that. And I think similarly for this, like, yes, they're trying their best to drum up interest via personal insults back and forth on Twitter. But like Tony said, like, I think just Rhea's gonna wipe the floor with her. I don't know what it is about Jade. Like I was one of her biggest cheerleaders because like obviously she looks freaking incredible. And, everybody has said like, oh, she has so much promise. She could be this big thing. And she's in AEW and they did, basically the Goldberg thing in AEW with her. And then, when she went to WWE, so many people were saying, now that she can train at the PC, now we'll really see what she can do. She's going to improve so much that she has the best coaches and the highest quality facility to train at. And she's been there for 2 years now. And it just doesn't really seem like we're seeing much improvement from her. She gets the championship.
Or progression.
Progression. Like we're not seeing any progression. She, her promos seem very. Oh, I'm hearing an echo now. Okay, now it stopped.
Okay.
Her promos seem very, very scripted. Like, maybe they don't trust her enough to have an improvised promo. So her promos seem extremely scripted, and then she just, says, "I'm that bitch," and that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
And
she didn't even say that last night. Rhea put that right back in her face.
Yeah, and Rhea
and dropped the mic.
Promo school last night.
Yeah.
And Rhea's going to have to carry that match. And I think if Jade's going to have a match with anybody, someone like Rhea is the good choice because she's a much more experienced, much more tenured wrestler that can probably help her through the match and make it look good rather than someone who's less experienced that won't be who would do that. But yeah, I don't know. It feels like just the exact same formula that they tried with Tiffy and Charlotte last year. And I just don't know if it's going to pay off.
Yeah. I almost wish that Rhea's promo came from Jade last night. It was Jade, using, be complimentary, be all that, be the typical heel champion, pump them up just to run them down and then just to bear down and say, I have this belt for a reason, and at WrestleMania, you're going to find out. Basically, use all the verbiage and everything that Rhea used. I just would have loved to have heard that coming from Jade, because you're right. Rhea absolutely just dominated that whole promo, and I agree 100% with you guys. This is going to be a squash, and you're going to have a new women's champion. I don't see it any other way. There's no way that I can honestly, even with my insane booking brain, make a fact that Jade walks out of WrestleMania with the title.
Right.
It just it for whatever reason they went with this, it didn't work. And instead of trying to and they kind of, I'm very surprised she's held the title this long, especially the way in the past, especially with the women's titles, all the women's titles, including the U.S. Intercontinental and Tag, they have been basically on a whim able to drop and switch champions at any time. And this just isn't working anymore. Not to say it won't at another time, but I agree with you, Deb, 100%. Jade has improved, but if you never defend the title, how are you supposed to be a credible champion?
Right.
Part of the thing that makes you a credible champion, or even if your run is short-lived, if you're out defending it and being visible with it every week and taking on opponents and this and that, that helps to build that credibility. Right now, it just looks like, oh, they said, here, hold on to this for a while and we'll get back to you. So,
right.
Honestly, to me, that's what it feels like.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, and this is something interesting that I just thought about.
Oh, boy.
Possibly Jade is suffering from the fact that the two superstars that she was involved with or around are out right now. One being a new mother, and one being having surgery on her finger, and she's recuperating right now. So I think maybe Jade fell victim to those two being out, and so Jade's basically been on cruise control with nothing really to do.
Well, that could be true, Tony, but also remember we have brand new women's tag team champions. Now it's newer, so if they were looking for people for Jade to buddy up with, they very easily could put her with Nia and Lash Legend. But I just I keep going back what Deb said. There's been no progression, and it just for whatever obviously, I don't think it's for a lack of effort or anything. They just don't know what to do, and this isn't working out the way they wanted to. So come WrestleMania, we're going to have a change, and we'll finally hopefully get Io and Rhea in the match for the title, and that Rhea finally beats Io to retain. That's probably Backlash. Just in my
sounds like a
crazy booking brain.
Could be, or could have that at SummerSlam.
I mean, they have. Let's get through Vegas first, and we'll see. But that's where we're going. One last thing from SmackDown, and just from WWE this week and period. Man, how great is having Debhausen on WWE programming?
Okay. So I have thoughts. Obviously, as the obvious Danhausen fanhausen in the group.
Yes.
All right, so I wasn't on the show last week, so I didn't get to share my thoughts before Elimination Chamber. But we've talked on Zoom and stuff over the course of this week. As the rumors started really, really ramping up, it went from that's not happening to, oh my God, that's happening. So the initial debut on Elimination Chamber, I think that it was fine. I think they didn't do a good enough job of introducing such a weird ass character to an audience who didn't know who he was. And that's the only thing. And I know, like I said to you guys earlier this week, that I knew that as soon as the WWE audience started seeing like, okay, what is this character? What is he doing? Like, what is his whole thing? I knew immediately that people would love him because he's very WWE coded, as the kids say.
Yes.
And yes, he didn't work out in AEW, and it's a bummer, but it's it's a different style of product. And he's a very, very gimmicky gimmick. And so I knew that it would fit in WWE, and I knew that once the audience learned more about him and kind of were like, okay, well, this is the type of character that he is, I knew people would fall in love with him. And already he was on Raw, he was on SmackDown. I watched the clip from SmackDown from last night. And like, if you hear when he's talking to The Miz and he says, you will be cursed, or if you don't do this, you will be cursed. You can hear the crowd singing along with him.
Saying along, you'll be cursed. That's them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So far, I'm very, very happy with the way that they're treating his character, with the way that they're featuring him. You know, we all have known of him for years, and he is a character that he doesn't really need to wrestle, which is honestly why he's perfect for WWE. He doesn't need to wrestle. He's gonna have some awesome, you know, comedy stuff with, you know, obviously the Miz now. They're gonna be doing that, which is
He's
so
already
great.
affecting championships.
Yeah, and you know
first night on the job, he's costing Dom Mysterio his Intercontinental title. He got cursed.
How great would it be that, like, you know, okay, so every match that's on a show, someone has to lose. How great would it be to just randomly, like, okay, this match is planned between so and so and so and so, and they know that one person's going to end up losing the match. So earlier in the show, have Danhausen come out and have an excuse to curse them, and then 40 minutes later, when they end up losing the match, now it becomes a whole thing that they lost. Like, it's funny, it's great, and they can do it very well as long as they commit to it, and so far they are. Yes. So far, they're very much committing to it, and it's going to be great. And Brooke, if you don't understand Danhausen, I highly recommend checking out the interview he did on Chris Van Vliet. Was that a year or so ago?
Yeah.
And then the interview he did on Conan O'Brien's podcast, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe. You can find them on YouTube. That is everything you need to know about Danhausen to explain what he is, who he is, how he is, why he is, everything.
In other words, listen to what your father told you a week ago.
Did you tell her that?
Yes. I'll show you the text message on my phone. I said, check out the Chris Van Vliet interview with him. He's not in makeup. It's out of character, but it's an excellent interview about what he's all about and how he became Danhausen. And I said, and there's a literal ton of YouTube clips and all that. Just Google it. So listen to your father, Brett.
You know, he is smart. Very smart.
Yeah. I always love seeing him on Ethan Page's toy vlog. When they go to the toy stores, and Danhausen will be there in character on the vlogs. Yes. It is so funny watching him go through a toy store, and just he cracks me up just the way he talks, and just he's got funny words for everything, you know, funny names for people like similar to Santino.
Yes.
You know, he calls Stone Cold Steve Austin, he calls him Cold Steve
Stone.
Cold Stone, yeah.
Yeah, Cold Stone Steve.
Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Yes. Funny. Yeah.
Pepsi Man. Pepsi Phil.
Pepsi Man is Punk. Yes.
Punk. Yeah.
Yeah. For any WWE fans who aren't familiar with him or aren't as deep into the AEW lore as I am, since Ethan Page is now, you know, a big WWE NXT star, and Danhausen is there as well. So I assume at some point they will have interactions, and that will be awesome. Anyone who hasn't seen it yet, go on Ethan Page's YouTube. Go in the past to his toy hunt vlogs, which were always fun. They would go to collectible shops and just kind of look around and look at things and talk and chat. Danhausen was frequently with him on those toy hunt vlogs, as was Brody King and Charlie, who's the AEW props man guy, and various other people here and there. Always so much fun. So if you want to see some really, really fun interactions between Danhausen and Ethan Page as they were just hanging out, while Danhausen is always in character, check it out on Ethan Page's YouTube.
Yes.
Yep.
And if you're an AEW fan and happen to subscribe to Ring of Honor, WatchHonor.com, cheap plug, Danhausen spent almost 3 years in old Ring of Honor. And there are, you know, and don't get it wrong, people, it's a fantastic gimmick, and it makes you laugh any and every time you see it. But the man can wrestle. It's not just, you know, makeup and be cursed and a jar of teeth. The dude can wrestle, and
Yeah.
especially originally when he was in Ring of Honor and trying to get signed by Ring of Honor, he put on some really good matches against, I won't go into all the names, but names you're very familiar with if you're a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
So absolutely, it's not just a gimmick, but again, ain't no money like bump free money, and
Right.
he deserves all the monies, all the human monies.
Yeah.
A
Yes.
new PT Cruiser and a blimp.
And a blimp. And he wants to be inducted into the Hall of Fame
Now,
today.
and the championship.
Yeah. It has Danhausen ever been on RJ City's the AEW deal he was doing?
AEW, I believe
AEW.
he was. I believe he was very early on.
Oh.
That would be hilarious to watch.
I only say that because there's a lot of memes and gifs floating around with him, and they look like they were taken from a episode of AEW. Which,
Yeah.
on a complete side note, boo Tony Khan.
Yes.
Boo that man. AEW was fantastic for Sunday morning coffee, and RJ City is a fucking genius. And you took it all away from it. Damn you, Tony Khan. Damn you. I'm out of brain of yours. Why do you do that to us? And you wonder why
I'm missing it so much.
And you wonder why fans hate you.
My Sunday morning routine is broken. I'm missing it so much. And now there's so many new people in AEW that we could interview.
Right. But no. So boo Tony Khan. Boo that.
You know what I love? Side note. You know what I loved about AEW the most is not everyone's going to get this reference. It was very Between Two Ferns.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that was intentional. I'm sure that was RJ's intention on kind of what he wanted for that show. But
at the very least, an homage, if you will. Using RJ, one of RJ's favorite comedy. Words. Yes.
Incredible. Yeah, I miss it. Bring it back. Come on, Tony.
All good things come to an end. And yes, bring it back. Just, we know you all listen, including you, Tony Khan. Just do the right thing here. Please.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of AEW this week, what is going on now with Swerve Strickland? All right, is he a heel? Is that what we're going with here?
I think yes. I think he's a heel because and like we've talked about it before. And one of the things that I like about AEW is that those things aren't always exactly clear cut, and Swerve and Hangman both are perfect examples of that. But Kenny Omega called Brody King the most dangerous man in AEW. And Swerve took that personally.
Apparently.
And has decided now that he needs to prove to everyone that he's the most dangerous man in AEW. I'm liking it. Whatever he is, I'm in.
All right. Well, because I love Swerve. No matter what he quote unquote wants to be, face, heel, the dude is absolutely fantastic in and out of the ring. I'm just not sure which way I'm supposed to feel with him. Because again, it's a very muddy picture right now, especially around the world title in AEW, which is fine because it's a lot of your top guys involved in the stories and everything, and they're all on the same basic premise that they're all on the chase to MJF and the title. But I'm just not sure, what path each guy is taking to get to MJF. In the old ways of AEW, they just would have made match after match after match until one of them actually beat MJF and takes the title off him, which is signature Tony Khan booking, and the fans like it, and it sets up dream matches and all that. But they haven't been doing that. They've been actually putting guys on stories on the chase, and I'm not quite sure. It's almost like they were like, yeah, we're going to put Swerve on the chase for the title. Okay, now
I think Swerve has always been kind of, well, not always, but I think since his big main storyline with Hangman, Swerve is on that level now. So,
right.
like we talked about this a couple weeks ago with anybody who's on that main event talent level, is they could be in the title picture chasing for that title at any moment.
But is that the only premise and story, though? That they're just on the chase for the title, no matter what?
No, I don't think so, because I think like all their stories are so intertwined with each other. And I think that's what makes it a little bit interesting. I have a terrible memory, honestly. I really have a terrible memory when it comes. Stop it. And
stoner.
But I think like he's out to prove himself now. He felt it was a personal insult when Kenny Omega did not acknowledge him as the most dangerous man in AEW. And I think it's about that, and then it's about, just proving to everyone that he's the top guy. I don't think it's necessarily even about MJF.
Okay. All right. Speaking of personal, and both of you can weigh on it because I know you saw it. We had I believe it was a 6-man match, but primarily it featured FTR and the Young Bucks, who are now going to be facing each other at Revolution for the AEW tag team titles. That got way more personal than that I thought they were going to go, when you had members of the Jackson's families involved, including, some of the family taking bumps to an extent. And I mean, wrestling overall seems to be on this trend of going a little more personal, a little more real across the board. Everybody's doing it, and it helps tell the story and make it more interesting. But is that enough to get you excited for Young Bucks FTR again?
Yeah. Bully always says he likes his wrestling real. He likes a little reality in his wrestling, and I've noticed here lately, like you said, John, there's a lot of reality being injected into different wrestling angles, different companies, because we're seeing it, with WWE as well, with the Punk and Roman promo from Monday, Punk referencing Roman's dad, who died, so yeah, so it's different reality-based things that's causing people to be invested in a match. And personally, anytime FTR and the Bucks are in the ring together, they put on a hell of a match. And it was either FTR, the Bucks, the Briscoes, God rest Jay's soul. Man, I was with you, John, when we were watching FTR versus the Briscoes. I think it was Death Before Dishonor. I was with you. We were watching it at that on the patio there across from that truck stop that you picked me up at.
Yep.
Man, dude, you were raving about the Briscoes, and that was the first time I'd ever seen a match with the Briscoes. And and I remember being in Dallas, Deb, whenever we were at a bar at WrestleMania around Arlington, and we saw the Briscoes in the bar. And I think FTR was there.
Yes.
Yeah, remember? Yeah. So yeah, it's I don't want my intelligence insulted, right? I don't want to just watch something for the sake of, they're just telling this story, and sometimes it's just cockamamie on what they're trying to do, right? But when you inject realism into it, it's kind of hard to mess that up, So I'm here for it, you know. And what you're talking about, John, with the family members at ringside and them getting pushed, something getting shoved down or whatever, you know, excuse me, that was, you know, personal. And the segment we saw on Wednesday where they were in that room and, you know, they've got a no, what do you call it, Deb, where they can't touch each other before the match?
No physicality.
Physicality?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, dang well the Bucks were just sitting there just wanting to pound their faces in, but they couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's all gonna come. It's all gonna come to a head next weekend. So I can't wait to see it.
Hopefully
Yeah.
they launch
Yeah.
Stokely off the stage again in his wheelchair. That's all I'm waiting for. Just to see what kind of bump they make Stokely take in that wheelchair.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big fan of both the Young Bucks and FTR in the ring. I think both teams just consistently have incredible matches. And, you know, we've seen these two teams go at it a couple times, several times before. And it, for me, it's kind of one of those things where, like, just like with Swerve and Hangman, like I could see a match between them at any time. Like, I don't care. It's just going to be awesome. I do want to mention on Dynamite also, we got Ciampa doing a ringside promo with Renee, and FTR came out and spoke to him for a minute. I think they asked him to basically join them on their side, but then, you know, some words happened, and immediately it made me think, like, oh, are we gonna see Gargano show up in AEW to join Ciampa and go against FTR? Are they kind of starting, you know, a little thing between Ciampa and FTR, waiting for Gargano to show up? I don't know Gargano's situation as far as contract status.
Well, he
I've
just cut a
seen-
big
I've-
promo on SmackDown last night. He's
and
not,
he
no
got
longer
completely annihilated by Obafemi,
Well-
which immediately made me think, like, are they writing him off? Like, he just got killed.
Yeah, well, I mean, that could be just for the fact that they're trying to further along Oba.
Yeah.
But I have another name, because I
It
saw
made me
that too,
think.
Deb. But I have another name that they could do and pull the trigger on right now if they wanted to do that with. And that's Mark Briscoe.
Yeah.
Having
Yes.
Briscoe, you know, the old iron sharpens iron. Hey, we had a hell of a match together, and we have history prior. And
Yes.
you don't have to say about FDR versus the Briscoes that ain't already been said. So that automatically will have people like, oh, I got to see this.
Yes.
So,
and they have shown a little bit of, and talked about a little bit of the history. They've talked about the history between Ciampa and Mark Briscoe, and they've talked about the history between FTR and the Briscoes. So they are making those connections with that, and telling people about the past that has happened between all of these people.
Yeah.
Your weekly public service announcement. If you haven't seen the trilogy FTR versus Briscoes, you're wrong, and you need to fix that immediately.
So good. So good. I believe they have it on YouTube now.
Yes.
I believe it is on ROH's YouTube.
Yes.
So good.
If y'all haven't seen any of those matches, then this is my reaction to you. I mean,
yeah. Where you been? What rock are you living under? But yeah, and actually, Deb, they have all three matches now. I saw a YouTube that has all three matches back to back. So
yes, go watch it.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to the one other last thing tonight, since we're getting close to the top of it. We have this NXT Day coming up live on the Peacock or on Netflix internationally. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. 4 matches, I believe, right? Just the 4 matches.
Yes.
And
that's all I saw.
We'll start with this one, which is now a street fight match, I believe. Blake Monroe, the Glamour, Mariah May, some of you may know her as, versus Miss Parker, Miss Parker, Miss Parker. This is going to be a really, really good match.
Yeah.
We all know that Mariah is really good, and especially in lieu of, and it's what NXT does. NXT has lost, obviously, a lot of people to the main roster. That's, always has been their intention and goal to develop stars here and now to go on to the main roster. And not that Jada hasn't been a staple for a while, but this is her chance really to shine because other people have moved on. And I think this is the start of a very big Jada push. She is super over with the fans. They all, me included, I do the Miss Parker dance all the time when I see her. And I just think it's going to be a really good match, maybe even the match of the night. And my thing with NXT is any 4 of these matches we're about to go over could be match of the night. And that's something that NXT has consistently done, through all the iterations, through original Black and Gold with the takeovers, even through the Rainbow Throw Up 2.0 years. We still had great matches. And now in the Black and Silver era, or Black and Platinum era, as they're calling it now, that continues, and this is no different.
Right. I was completely invested in it once Blake came back to the ring and she was wearing that black, right, she got on the top of the announce table and she was wearing that black coveralls, whatever she was wearing, and then here comes Jada Parker out of the back and the hoopla and all that stuff. I knew once Blake said street fight, that is her style of wrestling. Like what she did in AEW with Tony Storm, all that, I think that's what we're going to see tonight. I think we're going to see some GCW-esque. I don't know if they can go that far with it, but yeah, we're going to see some.
No, I doubt it.
She's gonna make a name tonight, I think.
Yeah, and for those that may or may not know, I bring you back to when NXT was at the ECW arena and the street fight match that Jada had with Lola Vice. The girl smacked her in the head with a brick, legit with a brick. Miss Parker don't play, as she likes to say, and she don't. And I think it's going to be I think both of them are going to be bloody. We're going to have some color, if you will, by the end of it. But I hope they open the show with that, really, because I think that would set a nice tone for the weekend or for the show.
Which is why we better hurry up. They're going to open the show with us.
Yes. So we're going to keep going.
I don't want to miss it.
Yeah. I'm just going right in the order that Deb posted these. So the next one is for the NXT Men's Championship. Say his name and he appears against, yes, the Revolution is televised. Ricky Starks gets yet another shot at Joe Hendry.
Joe.
Ricky Starks looking more and more like a rock every week, coming out wearing pajamas, trying to do concerts. I don't know. It's hard for me because, like the rest of you, we've known Ricky Starks since he was still basically an indie unknown, going back to his NWA days. And he's always been so good. And through NWA, through AEW, and now in NXT, he is main roster bound imminently. He is absolutely ready. I don't know if after this, I don't see him winning. I don't see him taking the title off of Joe Hendry just yet. But, what's next for Ricky after this if he doesn't win?
Isn't he in that little faction, whatever they've got going on? Isn't Ethan Page part of it?
Yeah, it's him, Ethan Page, and the guys from Vanity Project, Swipe Right, and the Evolve champion, Jackson Drake.
Possibly a program with Ethan and Ricky with, I say, Ethan turning face, and then them
I,
having
I
a
don't. It's one of the things you can go either way because what's next for Joe Henry if he loses? They just put the title on him, but now you go put him back on the chase for the title. I don't.
no. I think
it's one of the things. It's muddy. It's muddy at best. So
yeah.
But all right, my favorite match of the night: Lobo Vice taking on Kalani Jordan in an underground match. Basically, they're bringing Bloodsport back to NXT. This is going to be contested in an underground in quote-unquote fight pit rules. On the surface, this is an absolute squash match. Lola Vice, a.k.a. Battle of Laredo, was once a top 5 ranked bantamweight MMA fighter.
Yep.
Period. The woman is absolutely deadly and dangerous. And not to say that Kalani is not athletic. She is not talented. She's not. She does not have a fight. She was a gymnast. She's not does not have a fighting background. And you can't teach in a year what Valerie has been doing basically in her entire life. However, as they do, they've done a very good job to make Kalani credible. She did get a tap-out victory over Lola recently. And they're carrying that into this match. And I think it's going to be very good. And I think it's going to give a lot of the NXT fans a chance to see that other side of Lola that we have only caught in glimpses, her MMA side. We've seen videos and stuff of her training, and fans of her know that she has an extensive MMA background, but we haven't really seen like a fight, like a underground or a pit fight in NXT with her for her to really show that. So, like I said, this is going to be my favorite match of the night because I think Kalani is going to surprise a lot of people. I think she's more than tough enough and athletic enough, but in the end, Mola wins.
I agree.
Okay. And the last match, which I think is, again, could be a match of the night too, just because of the story behind it. The head of the family, or what was the family, Tony D'Angelo versus Dion Lewis of Dark State. And we all know, or the premise behind this is Tony D'Angelo has come back to NXT with one mission: to destroy what destroyed him and his family. And that is collectively Dark State. And he has absolutely been on this tear of attacking them randomly out of nowhere, just coming through, walking through security, through whoever they want to put for them, just to beat the hell out of Dark State, to the point now that they have this match with the first one, quote unquote, the first one on his list being Dion Lewis. I like it. I like that because Tony D'Angelo was always a great character. He's a past North American champion. He can wrestle. He's very good with promos and all that. And he was very entertaining as the head of the D'Angelo, the Don of the family. And that kind of ran its course, but they've come back with this kind of different character. It's still him, just a slightly different version. And I'm already interested in it and being a fan of him to see, this one guy take on 4 guys. And that's, and seeing how he's doing. And again, you have a kind of depleted roster right now in NXT, especially of your bigger names, and probably going to be losing more by the time WrestleMania rolls around or afterwards. And NXT constantly is an evolving thing, and they've always done an amazing job of next person up. This person goes up to the main roster, someone else fills in that main role, and the cycle continues. And I think this is a chance for Dark State and himself and the guys in Dark State to get kind of a statement on their own, being individual, not just this group. Because even that's getting kind of stale because, to be honest, they're running out of 4 people to go against. Yes, they're the tag champs in NXT right now, but, that, and they can't even do Freebird rules with them with that because then you can't, all you're doing is just moving the belt around 4 guys or the belt around 4 guys. So it's, I think it's going to be good. I'm very interested to see what happens in the aftermath of this and going forward. But overall, as NXT does, it's going to be a good show. It's going to be lots of action, not much filler. And, give us a quick, probably 2.5 hours to kill on the Saturday night. One interesting thing, Deb, you said you had something you wanted to say about NXT.
Yeah, so, we don't have time to get into an actual discussion about it, but one thing I wanted to kind of, mention or pose to you guys is, you guys know I don't watch NXT. I don't even really pay attention to what's going on there as nearly as much as I pay attention to what's happening on the main roster. But just from my observation from the outside looking in and kind of like, seeing like discussions that happen between all you guys in the group and seeing things online, I feel like we're almost back to that place where people are generally more excited for NXT than for main roster. I was never really an NXT viewer, but like I remember back in the Black and Gold days, I never watched weekly, but I kept hearing about how this show was better than the main roster. And then at a certain point, I just started watching takeovers. Like I never watched the weekly show, but I would watch a takeover when it happened. And at that time, people were just much, much more interested in NXT than the main roster. And the past few weeks, I kind of get that feeling again. Like, I know this week since Elimination Chamber happened and certain things happened that are getting people a little more interested in what's going to be going on at WrestleMania. That's gone a little better on the main roster, but yeah, generally, like I feel like my observation is people are way more into NXT right now than they are the main roster. Like not only the matches on the weekly cards, but the PLEs, the excitement to see the show and the storylines of the characters that are happening. That's just what it seems to me.
I think it's a good very fair point. And I agree 100%. And that's a perfect way to end the show. So, Vengeance Day is kicking off now. So, Tony, where can the folks get with you and all that good stuff?
Well, I would like to point out that I was sent a very touching video from Izzy, a tremendous video that Mongrovian Mike and Neil captured at the show they're at. Izzy giving us a shout out, and I tried to load it into the dang platform, but it's not the right format, so I couldn't get it to do it. So anyway, thank you, Izzy. We love you very much. You are doing great things. Appreciate the shout out, and you're gonna kill it in your career. I'm telling you, you're amazing. And I'm not just saying that because we're close with you and everything, but you are doing an amazing job, and we're very proud of you.
Yes.
So anyway, if you can catch me at Tony Justice AJFA, and if you're a Metallica fan like I know all of us are, you know what that means. Ooh.
Yeah.
Deb, give them the details.
Well, first, so, we obviously NXT has already started. We got Collision coming on in less than an hour, which I'm really looking forward to. We also got GCW that just started, which I am going to be watching. Bear Bronson is on the card. Joey Janela is on the card.
Chelsea's on the card.
yes, it's going to be a great show. This is a GCW weekend. Last night, tonight, and tomorrow night. GCW shows.
Making the towns.
So yeah, it's never disappoints. So I will be putting that on, and then once Collision comes on, I will be dual screening. So yeah, that'll be my night. I'm really excited, and that's So Debonair on all of the socials, the Twitter machine, the Instagram, the Blue Sky, everywhere.
Where the hippies hang out. Yes, make sure you always click the link.
Wait, is that real? Seth just said that Bear couldn't make the show tonight. Fuck! I
don't know.
No, there's always tomorrow.
He's downstairs. Ask him. Just go, hey! Anyway. Anyhow.
Flight delays, he said. He said flight delays. That blows.
Oh. Well, hopefully they'll make it up for it with him tomorrow night. Or tomorrow afternoon. All right. With that out of the way, you can all get with me on the X and Instagram at John in South Jersey. And also on Instagram is where you can keep up with the exploits of the most dangerous weapon in all of professional wrestling. Of course, I am talking about the AK-9K, the Ass Kicker 9000. And you can keep up with all of his exploits at Ass Kicker 9K. Last one for me. Shout out to Nation's Corner on location. Mongrovian Mike and Neil are out seeing the aforementioned Izzy and a few other of our friends that support indie wrestling. Stay tuned. Yes, stay tuned to Nation's Corner on location for some new interviews that will be coming out hopefully very soon. The production has been cranked up again, and I'll be sitting down with some people for some interviews and hope to have them out very soon. So for myself, John in South Jersey, my tag team partner, Debhausen, and the world's greatest truck driver, Tony Justice, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next week.